Today I want to talk about a specific topic that I notice I hear out when I talk to people, and that is mainly why they go to the gym, how their goals are aligned with their daily life, and how they see or not see the gym. Because for many it is a exhausting place, I guess, and it takes a lot of time. And many people don't see themselves to have that time or that energy. But there is a reason why many people keep going, especially high performers. It doesn't have to be in sports or some athletes. It also could just be someone with a hobby. Being in the gym and actually training and getting better gives your mind something more easy to digest, to understand how it works and how to apply that to other goals. And I totally understand it that a lot of people just don't have the time, especially if you have kids, if you have a job. But there is something also to think about. That is, how do you want your people that surround you see you? In comparison, someone who is not going to the gym at all compared to you who is going to the gym regularly and actually getting stronger and fitter. What type of person would other people see, your family? For people who don't go to the gym, they could see them as a normal human being, functional human being, especially if stress management is already a topic. But many people I see are just burned out, especially after work, and not really feeling the connection to other people because they'd rather spend more time with themselves. For someone who goes to the gym regularly and is strong, is fit, has all those goals, milestones, and already achieved them, they have a different perspective on mentally how they view those stress situations, but also physically they are more capable of doing things. You as a parent have back problems, back issues that rarely comes from going to the gym, but rather not going to the gym. And this leads to you not being able to spend the time and energy with your kids because you are just more inclined to hurt yourself when you attend in those games that your kids play, but also how you perform in your job, in your daily life, just in general. It is shown that when you have a reason to, you will cook for yourself. If you don't, you won't. And the biggest reason for that could be, deciding between a pizza you put in the oven or cooking something like just a very delicious dish that actually takes time, is knowing how it affects your energy levels. And if you are a type of person who says to only do the things that are necessary, meaning you go to work, you only do the necessary things, and then you go home, and then you do the necessary things, this also leads to only preparing food that is necessary. But if you are actively in the gym, if you have a sport you train for, it doesn't have to just be weightlifting, it could also be cardio, marathons. There needs to be a sense of awareness of what you put in your body, and having something, a sport that you want to get better at, leads to it being easier to decide for cooking and not for going for the easier meal to prepare. And knowing if, for example, I go to the gym daily, I know I will have to perform the next day very, very well. There is no big room for errors. If, for example, I would drink alcohol today, it could just be one beer, then I will notice that in the gym the next day. And you can see how the lifts are performed. The longer period where I didn't drink anything, the weight I was able to lift was just increasing from week to week. But as soon as I have a phase where I drink, not overdrink, not over consuming, then I just notice the weights decrease, the amount of work I can do without getting sore just decreases by a lot. And this gives me the responsibility of either to say I go to the gym tomorrow and perform at my best, or I don't do that. And if I compare exactly that, it's like even with food, how much sugar you eat a day. If I eat a lot of sugar in that day, the next day I will notice that my sleep won't be as good. The day itself won't go by as smoothly. It will have that crash either that evening or that morning, and this affects especially the gym. And if I have set myself a goal to lift very, very heavy, there is no question whether or not I want to do that, to drink, to eat unhealthy, but rather why. And if the why isn't strong enough, then there's no reason for me to do that. And there is no good enough reason to eat unhealthy or to drink, except for going out with friends. But then I'd rather question with what type of friends and people I hang around with that aren't really aligned with my goals. And this gives another perspective to how you view your life. And having that feeling of something in your life that you want to take as far as possible is something that gives you purpose, that gives you fulfillment if you are on that track. Either you want a world record or you just want to be able to compete somewhere. Those lives just look completely different. And going to the gym also increases your confidence. You hear that all the time, that when people started to work out, they have more trust in themselves. They are able to make their lives better just by eating better, by drinking more water, or just being in a better shape and actually feeling that. At the beginning, when I was starting to train and just go to the gym regularly, it didn't came as easy to just go and have a great time and plan everything ahead. It was difficult. It sucked from time to time, especially leg day. I had no real goal or reason to do that, so I wasn't squatting at all. But now it completely shifted with me wanting to compete with the best in powerlifting, and actually getting as strong as possible gave me that perspective of why I'm doing that. And it isn't hard for me to motivate myself to go to the gym. It is as mandatory for my day to start, like is sleeping, or basic hygiene is like showering or brushing your teeth. That just comes with my day. There is no today I don't feel like training, so I don't go. It is I don't feel like training. Why is that? And then I get to the core reason why I don't feel like training that day. And then I know that for the next time, when I feel that again, and then either I was just there's always a simple reason. How is my stress in that week? How do I feel just in general? And it's mainly I have a lot going on, and then I have that lack of motivation to go, but I still go, and then I'm thinking, how can I solve that the next time when a lot of things are going on. Most of the time, it's like how much do I focus on a business, or with how much time am I spending with friends? Am I not spending enough time with people? And this is a way to manage the life, and also gives, I don't want to say motivate you to go to the gym, because it isn't motivation at this point. But also a lot of people don't like the word discipline for a reason, especially when you were at school and didn't do your homework and didn't learn or whatever, then you were that not disciplined kid. Then actions have to be taken to discipline you, that those kind of stuff that happens to a lot of people. And for me, I had to go out of that mindset of discipline being something not good. But that word discipline only implies if you are willing to repeat that activity. You are disciplined in that sense when you brush your teeth every day. You are disciplined when you take a shower every day. You are disciplined when you go to bed at the right time or get up at the same time. You are disciplined when you go to work. It isn't that when you don't do that it's something bad, but you will receive the best benefits from doing something from day to day, playing the guitar every day, even if it's just a little bit. Or even in that case, going to the gym as often as possible. Having a set day of, for some it's 3 days, they definitely can. But if 4 days is like the fourth day is a maybe, then just go with 3 days. You don't have to spend a lot of time in the gym. That's something you don't really need. And for most people, that's actually not a good idea. You need to have the possibility to do that. Especially if you have a job, you do, and a family, and you do want to spend more time with them. This is a higher priority. But not training for something at all, there's no good enough reason to not do that. But the reason why it is so important to at least have a routine, or doing it from week to week, is you are able to focus on something and improve on that and see where your weaknesses are. If you do something one time, like paragliding, what mistakes did you do? No one knows. What about doing it once a week? Then you notice how you can improve. Then you notice what your weaknesses are, what your strengths are. And this is the easiest way to find that out is in the gym. For most people, it is easily accessible. It isn't expensive, and you can just go there and spend time. And there are a lot of people who already are knowledgeable in that area. And at least in my experience, I never had someone who was offended or annoyed by me asking questions. And even for me now, is when someone comes up to me, I love to talk. I love to talk about that topic, especially when I see they have that drive of becoming better. Even if that's someone's first day, I would never turn them down and say, I don't like you because you don't know what you're talking about. And this is a very healthy way of giving you the perspective, just physically, what you need to do and how to do that. But also another thing is, for some reason I always had problems with my hips, with my lower back. I did have a sports injury in the past. I won't go too deep into that, but it's more. I noticed that when I was lifting heavy, when I was deadlifting heavy, and then it felt something just tearing. I didn't know what exactly that was. I just couldn't move at all, like upright. I just always had that slouch. It took me like 10 minutes to get off the couch just because it was so painful. And that was 2 years ago. Now my day-to-day routine looks completely different to then. For example, I'm more aware of not sitting the whole time. I stretch out every morning and every evening, right, after getting up and before going to bed, but also every time after I worked out, depending on what I trained that day. If I trained lower body legs, then I stretch out my legs. If whatever I that what I trained, I stretch out. And in total, I stretch out for around 40 to 60 minutes a day. And since then, I don't have any problems at all. Even the contrary, I am actually improving so much just by stretching and basically feeling my body, how it is reacting to the way I train or the things I do. The more I walk, the less I have to stretch out. But also what type of muscles are tight. What exactly is my body made out of in terms of stiffness and but also flexibility. And then I focus on that for a while, especially when training, is I pay attention to that muscle. And for example, with squatting, I always had tight hamstrings. And I stretched them out. And now I'm able to squat more, to deadlift way easier. I have that pop of just force applying, what I didn't have before, and I never knew what people meant with activate your glutes. And it's like, I don't know what you mean. But now I have that feeling of that whole connection from my back to basically to my hamstrings, and now I feel how it goes, and it isn't like my body doesn't need to compensate for specific movements, like you see when someone is squatting and then the back rounds at the bottom and then they get up and then it's straight again. This is very interesting to see how your body just feels like, and this is important for your whole life. It's like at one point you will have problems with your back if you don't do anything. At one point you won't be able to walk again. And what exactly will you do in that situation? And when you never got into that topic of how to stretch out, how to contact the right people who are very knowledgeable, but also have a progressive mindset, like not just giving you a shot of pain medication and then send you home. That's the worst thing you can do when you have a sports injury, but that's what most people do. And this is the main reason to just start with that, is just going to the gym. And then you notice what problems your body has. And if you need to find a motivation or a goal for going to the gym, for me it was never looking good or becoming the strongest, but to hold myself accountable to what I do every day, and just going there was the goal. Just having a good time, taking that time out of the day and actually doing it, and it just basically went over to the goals I had. Like I had a lot of goals for the gym, and it always changes, and I never regret changing them, because I got to learn more about myself. the way I train, the way I want to train. Like training for bodybuilding is cool, but it was never my type of training. I always looked forward to the max days where I was able to just lift as heavy as possible. Then I found out that's what powerlifters do, like every week, every day. And then I got into that, and that I never knew that about myself, that exactly that's the way I want to train. Now I train for that. I get to meet people that have the same goals, have the same ambitions. And I have a reason to go to the gym even more now. And I really hope that when you're listening and you are thinking about, going to the gym or whatever, that this video helps you change a little bit of the perspective, that it makes it possible for you to exactly achieve those goals that you always set yourself, but also giving you a way to start thinking how to do more of the things that you think you should do and do less of the harmful stuff, and actually take care of your health. And life can never be easy, but there's also the saying, it's like, don't wish for your life to be easy, but to be strong enough for the situations that will come. What better way to prepare yourself than to be strong physically? I will stop this video here. If you see this video as helpful, then just let me know by leaving a like, hit subscribe. I will upload more in the future, and just comment what your thoughts are. I want to read and see what you guys think, and see you in the next one. Take care.